This week on The Travel Detective.
It's been known as a playground for the rich and famous. But this island in the British West Indies has a lot more to offer than just luxury resorts. Let me show you my hidden gems of Anguilla. And then, imagine there's an emergency when you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, during a vacation or an adventure trip. I'll tell you about a vital life-saving service that has got you covered.
I'm Peter Greenberg. That story and more on this edition of The Travel Detective. Imagine a small island in the British West Indies, just 13,000 people. No cruise ships, no big shopping malls, and no casinos, but with everything that defined the Caribbean the way it used to be. Let me share with you some of my hidden gems of Anguilla.
The island is small. It's manageable. A place to literally unwind. It's uncrowded and has an abundance of choice. We're talking 33 nearly empty white sand beaches. It sounds great, but first, you've got to get there.
One of the big challenges in Anguilla is airlift. You won't find the big U.S. airlines here at the airport. In fact, you won't find many passengers either. American Airlines did fly here, but they pulled out in 2008 after the recession, and they never returned. So, how do people get here?
It's not exactly a non-stop trip. While there are more than 20 airlines that fly into neighboring St. Martin, that's just the beginning of your journey. First, you'll go through immigration there and officially enter St. Martin. Then it's a short ride to a ferry dock. You'll go through immigration again, and 5 minutes later, leave St. Martin, and then on to one of the small 40-foot ferries. On the way out of the harbor, you'll notice dozens of partially submerged yachts and fishing boats. These vessels sank here in 2017 when Hurricane Irma hit the island as a Category 5 storm, and they've been abandoned ever since. Not the most welcoming image, but a harsh reminder of the fragility of the islands here amidst all the beauty. But soon, you're out on the open sea, and 30 minutes later, the boat pulls into a place called Blowing Point. You're now in Anguilla, and yes, you're going through immigration again. But now you're here, and that's where the scenery and the pace changes dramatically. But first, some history. Anguilla is located in the eastern Caribbean Sea, just north of St. Martin and east of Puerto Rico. The French discovered it in the 16th century, and the English colonized it. It later became part of a federation with St. Kitts and Nevis, with the three islands officially becoming an associated state in 1967. Anguilla formally seceded from St. Kitts and Nevis in 1980, and today, this 35 square mile island is an independent British overseas territory. Part of the charm of this island is that it's only 16 miles long and 3 miles wide, about the same size as Manhattan, but with little traffic and a fraction of the population. And while it sounds like a cliche, in this case it's true. Postcard perfect beaches, and lots of them. It's been said that if you have the determination to get to Anguilla, you'll always return, and a number of those original visitors won't go anywhere else. Like Jeffrey Feiger. He first came down here with his wife in 1984, and for all intents and purposes, he's never left.
It reminded me the most of old-time Jamaica. It's English, extremely civilized. The beaches are the nicest in the world. The people are incredibly great, and I felt good here. I can't describe the feng shui. I just felt good here, literally felt good.
Down here, he's more or less a local, but only here.
To save a man's life against his will.
Jeffrey Feiger is actually one of the most well-known trial lawyers in the United States. He's best known for representing controversial clients in very high-profile public interest cases.
Yes or no?
Yes.
He was the attorney for Dr. Jack Kevorkian, a medical pathologist who helped more than 100 terminally ill people end their lives.
And that Dr. Kevorkian's sole intent was to relieve pain, discomfort, and suffering.
Feiger defended Kevorkian in 3 of those cases, and the doctor was acquitted in all 3. Feiger's won millions in civil cases, and he spends that money in Anguilla. While he still practices law in Michigan, down here in Anguilla, among other things, he practices driving. And in this case, on board his small toy-like mini-moke, driving visitors like me.
Anguilla is one of the last outposts of what people imagine to be the tropical paradises that, Somerset Maugham or Noel Coward or any of those guys from the 20s and 30s wrote about.
And he knows where to eat. Welcome to globalization. I've had great Chinese food in Amman, Jordan, the best Indian food in London. And for Italian, Feiger's been coming to Trattoria Tremonto for as long as he's been in Anguilla, a place where the view matches the food, and it sits on Shoal Bay West. Then there's a secret at the other end of the beach, which is a completely different vibe. The Madeira Man Bar and Restaurant has been around forever under different names. But this part of the beach was one of the first places Feiger came to. You're likely to find more people here than most other beaches, but relatively speaking, it's still pretty empty. And with all of the accessible reefs, it's great for snorkeling.
We're a scrub island, we're a coral island, we're basically flat. But if you're counting in terms of tropical paradises, beaches, water, absolutely unpolluted, clean, fresh water, magnificent pink sand and white sand beaches stretching for miles without any people.
Looking for a high vista in Anguilla? You won't find one. But the highest point of the island still does the trick. At a whopping 214 feet, the Viewpoint Estate, which sits on a bluff overlooking Crocus Bay, gets you one of the better views. Followed by another Feiger secret, the dramatic views at Black Garden. Want to find the way? Just ask any local. But no directions needed for the sunset. Believe it or not, this is what it looked like just about every night I was in Anguilla. On most Caribbean islands, let's face it, the stores are nothing more than glorified snack shops with Bob Marley t-shirts and refrigerator magnets. Not in Anguilla. Here there are art galleries that take themselves seriously, with owner artists who proudly show and then explain true Caribbean art.
My sculptures are organic.
Courtney Devon is trained and taught art in England.
I love the female form. So when you see my sculptures, they are female.
His work has been exhibited all over the world, but he makes Anguilla his home base. Many locals come here to buy his signature work, which dates back to his teaching days. One of the better collections of Haitian art in Anguilla is at perhaps the most impressive gallery on the island. It's located off a quiet road on Long Bay. It just happens to be Feiger's Hotel, the Quintessence. A truly upscale, 9-bedroom Relais and Chateau mansion that was built over a period of 10 years and opened in 2018. If law is Feiger's true love, then the hotel is his mistress. The art here is Feiger's personal collection, procured around the world over several decades. And it's not just Haitian art. There's also a large collection of antiques that occupies almost every available inch of wall space. Bronze panthers from Nigeria, antique crowns from Thailand. And this great white rose in the lobby, it was sculpted by the hotel's artist in residence. And despite having zero experience in creating a hotel from scratch, Feiger literally designed the place and shopped for everything himself.
I'm not a designer, I'm not an architect. I had to have somebody make suggestions to me. But I made all the final decisions. Everything, rise or fall, in this hotel is Jeffrey Feiger.
He had authentic bamboo furniture, custom made and brought in from the Philippines. And then there are some very special mattresses shipped in from Hastings in Sweden. This is definitely not your typical hotel bed. Each is custom ordered and handmade over a period of weeks in the small town of Kepping. Then it takes months to make the ocean voyage to Anguilla. Price tag? $20,000 a piece. Then there's the wine cellar, which more than amply supplies Julien's, the hotel restaurant, where each night French chef Dominique Thevenet prepares what he calls island soul food, though it's probably not what you think of when you hear soul food. Here, it's a fusion of local and Caribbean cuisine, but with a decidedly French flair. And the good news is, you don't have to stay at the hotel to eat here. Many visitors will sneak over from other hotels for the experience. But a truly essential experience in Anguilla is to get out on the water and get your own food. You head to Island Harbor to fish with the locals. First, it's always a good idea to learn from the kids. Then, with the adults, you head out. And before long, you're out in deep water, aiming for mahi-mahi or tuna. I'm told the fish are everywhere out here, which may explain why so many local restaurants put them on their menu every night.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen, all for free. No subscription required.
Now we bait the hook
Yeah, the hook
through the eye and the back.
back. There you go.
So now we're gonna troll.
Soon, our first strike.
Whoa, a little barracuda. Not good eating. He goes back in, huh?
Goes back in.
So, we kept trying. And then,
What do you think we got? Barracuda again?
What's up? Barracuda.
Barracuda again. Nice teeth.
Hey, please don't go dentist.
The famous Barracuda catch and release program.
It is Barracuda Day.
it may have been Barracuda Day, but it didn't appear to be my day. On the way back to the mainland, we decided to bottom fish in shallower water in a last-ditch effort to see if we could catch something, anything, that was edible.
Dave? Oh man, this guy's heavy. He's really running.
Bring him up, bring him up.
Whoa! A shark!
I think we're going to need a bigger boat.
Ladies and gentlemen, a sand shark. Let us just say the biggest fish of the day was caught by moi.
And the baddest fish.
And the baddest fish.
Okay, so we didn't need a bigger boat, but we did need lunch. Our crew cleaned and prepared the shark as we headed to a once-lost island. The island's about 2 miles off the coast of Anguilla, and it's a testament to nature's ability to be destroyed and then recovered. It was wiped out in 1995 in Hurricane Lewis. It came back half its size and then was wiped out again in 2017 during Hurricane Irma. And 3 years later, it's back. There's a restaurant there that caters to local tour boats, but if you show up with your own boat, which we did, and your own catch, which we also did, you can cook it there. Wow. This is my shark?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, I'm checking it out.
It's hot. It's hot.
Tastes just like chicken.
Tastes
No,
just like
I'm kidding. Shark. It's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah, you want some?
I'll have some.
Well, get some.
Yeah.
Hey, go on, get in there. I mean, look, I caught it, you cleaned it.
And we eat it.
And we
We eat it. Boom.
Boom, done. Who wants some?
This year, more than 1.4 billion people will cross an international border, and most of them will travel unprotected. Oh, they may think they're covered if the airline loses their bag or their flight's delayed, but we're talking about real emergencies, a life-threatening illness, an accident, crime, political disturbance, or natural disaster. It's very easy, as we all know these days, to fly just about anywhere you want to go in the world. But when an emergency happens, then the question becomes how, when, where, and how fast you get out. And this is where medical evacuation coverage comes in. Unlike typical travel insurance, this is a membership-based service, not an insurance policy, and it provides evacuation in case of an emergency. Think of it more as a transport service that will get you to the hospital of your choice or to your home, no matter where in the world you may be. There are a handful of companies that offer these memberships: MedJet Assist, Global Guardian Air Ambulance, and SkyMed, to name a few. In the past 2 years, more and more travelers are being evacuated. It's either because of political turmoil or civil disturbances in foreign countries, or because of the growing number of travelers opting for adventure itineraries who might get into trouble. In recent years, this has particularly been the case in Nepal, where a growing interest in climbing Everest resulted in a booming number of serious injuries and deaths in the Himalayas. Enter the brave new, but essential world of traveler protection. And Global Rescue, based out of this former mill in Lebanon, New Hampshire, has been very busy.
We cover everything, whether it be a slip and fall in a hotel room, a motor vehicle accident, somebody eats something that doesn't agree with them, all the way up to a natural disaster, an earthquake, avalanches in Nepal, or terrorism or civil unrest like the Arab Spring. We've been involved in respond to all of those sorts of events in any given year.
And these are exactly the kinds of things that many people presume their travel insurance will cover. Global Rescue is staffed by former Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, and other special ops personnel, like Dan Stretch and Matt Napoltonia, who just may be among the first faces you'll see if you're in need of evacuation.
If somebody needs to be rescued, the first thing they would do was call one of our operation centres by phone, satellite phone, email, Global Rescue app. We'd assess the situation and then we'd work with our partners in different countries to rescue them from the point of injury, get them to a hospital in that country and then stabilise them and then move them back to their home hospital of choice.
Most of the members, before they sign up, think that these rescues are as easy as ordering up an Uber or a pizza at Domino's, but I can assure you they're extremely complex. We're dealing with foreign governments on many occasions, dealing with their aircraft if we need to. A lot of times we're working directly with the U.S. ambassadors to help repatriate and rescue our members. So these missions are extremely complex.
And some of the more complex missions take place every year during the Himalayan climbing season, because over the last 10 years, the number of tourists heading to that part of the world has skyrocketed. And it's not just Everest climbers, it's also trekkers and people who want to explore more off-the-beaten-path parts of the world.
I mean, Everest Base Camp, just the base camp is at 17,700 feet, right? So all the other sites that people want to go to in the country are typically above 14,000 feet, which, you look at the mountains in the United States, they peak out at 14,000 feet. So the body doesn't respond well to altitude, even at 13 or 14,000 feet. So we have a lot of altitude sickness, haze, and other kinds of issues that our members experience, even when they're not trying to summit Everest or the other big mountains.
But it's not just Everest and big mountain rescues.
We see the adventure travel side of our business growing well into the double digits for the last 5 years. So they're doing bungee jumping, they're doing jet skiing, they're doing zip lining, they're doing backcountry and extreme skiing and climbing and all kinds of things that, again, 15 or 20 years ago, they might have been going to sit on a beach somewhere.
Surprisingly, one of the most dangerous things people do when they travel
is something they may often do every day and not even think about.
Statistically, bicycling is a dangerous activity. It's not up there with base jumping or high altitude mountaineering, but it absolutely is one of the more dangerous things that you can do. We have a fairly sizable group of clients that like to motorcycle across some pretty remote places. Gravity, large objects moving at speed, those two things are dangerous.
And then, of course, there are acts of God.
Basically, every major event of the last decade, Global Rescue has responded to our members' needs.
Like Fukushima, Japan, when in March 2011, a major earthquake triggered a 50-foot tsunami, which disabled the power and cooling mechanisms at the nuclear power plant, resulting in the most severe nuclear accident since the Chernobyl disaster. Over 100,000 people had to be evacuated from the area.
When we respond to these kinds of disaster zones, while we're there for our members, we also try and do our part to assist in the humanitarian aspects of the response. And if somebody comes in and needs help, we'll typically help them.
We've had many instances where we've had a helicopter in an area where a local person's been injured or become sick, and of course, if possible, we'll use our helicopter to move these people to a hospital.
And bringing them to the hospital may well save their life.
I can see the hypotenuse lesion in the left side. It looks like a stroke. That means he's unable to move in the right side because he had a stroke in the left side.
So how does Global Rescue have the resources to claim to be everywhere and to respond to a crisis or emergency in a timely manner almost anywhere in the world?
We've got 5 operation centers around the world. These operation centers coordinate and act as the nerve centers whenever there's an emergency that one of our clients experiences. So what we'll do is we'll be able to communicate, coordinate, and then ultimately, if it's necessary, deploy resources to the site of injury or illness. We've got more than 5,000 aircraft around the world under contract. So, rotary wing helicopters, fixed wing, bush plane operators. Our database is pretty remarkable, and our list of relationships around the world is very deep.
This kind of protection comes at a price. An annual policy for a service like Global Rescue starts at about $275. But when it comes to these services, there's a strong argument that it's not about what it costs, but what it's worth in the event you get into trouble when you're traveling. And many American travelers get into trouble when they mistakenly assume that when the going gets rough, they should head directly for the U.S. Embassy.
U.S. embassies are not a place of refuge for American travelers. No embassies are for any country, so it's not just our embassies. They do a phenomenal job for our citizens, but when you look at the countries that Americans travel to in any numbers, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, the embassies are just not set up to provide those sorts of services in the country.
And unlike regular insurance, which is great for trip cancellation, theft, or travel delays, evacuation memberships don't reimburse you for out-of-pocket expenses, but they do serve a different purpose.
Insurers are good at writing checks, right? You pay them a premium, and they cover your loss. But they are not set up to provide crisis management and response services. They can't put boots on the ground at the site of crisis. They just can't. It's not their business. That's what we do.
Global Rescue's Operations Department, Sarah speaking. Can I help you?
Hi, my name's Claudia.
Most of what we do every day is advisory in nature. Perhaps provide a diagnosis over the telephone.
You can go ahead and start identifying a helicopter provider.
Okay.
We have someone ill, Kanibasa Glacier, Pakistan.
Okay.
And then make a recommendation with respect to what you should get for treatment. And make a referral to a local care facility or a center of excellence where we've got about 200 of those around the world that we can refer people to.
So what should you be aware of before you plan a trip? Do your research before you go and understand the environment you'll be traveling to. Think about your own physical limits. What are your capabilities? Think about what you'll be doing, what you'll be eating, and what could potentially happen. Rather than assuming that nothing will happen to you, start thinking about what you're going to do if something does. The bottom line, whether you're going on a cruise, a family vacation, setting out on an extreme adventure, or even just going on a business trip, you might want to consider a medical evacuation policy. It may not only save your vacation, it could easily save your life.